We've logged into Kahoot. Right now we're looking at My Kahoots, but we can be on any screen. What we want to do is click on our account button in the top right. It'll have our name, so we click on that and then click on My Results. And this will take us to a new page. On this new page, we see my results, the date we took the Kahoot name, and then 4 different options. Option 1 is to download it directly to our computer. Option 2 is to save it on Google Drive. Option 3 is to play it again in ghost mode right now. And option 4 is to share this link to play it in ghost mode, to share that with someone else. So we're going to go with the first option and save it directly right now to our computer. We've opened up our Excel file and we see that there's many different tabs at the bottom. Overall, there are 5 different varieties of tabs. We start with Overview on the farthest left. Looking over this tab, we see the name, Probability Quiz 1, Decision Trees and Events at the top. From there, we have Played On, the date that we played this Kahoot, hosted by David Ring. This is my username, the person who hosted it. Played with 23 players, the amount of people that played on that day during that time. Played 21 of 21 questions. The only time this may be different is if you quit partially part of the way through. Overall performance, total correct answers, total incorrect answers, and average score. So about 16,000 out of 21 questions. In general, one Kahoot question can be up to 1,000 points. If you enable the option for a winning streak bonus, then you can get more than this 21,000. But of course, 1,000 means you answered that question almost immediately, which is probably going to be impossible for a lot of them. Next, we have feedback. How fun was it? Did you learn something? Do you recommend it? How do you feel? So this is information the user can enter at the end of the Kahoot. Next, we have final scores. We have rank, how well the user did, player, the name. For my students, I let them choose any name that they want within reason, but they also need to enter some sort of information that identifies them. For me, I tell that they need to enter their student ID, the number that they had that's associated with this class, so that I can track them. Next, we had their total score, correct answers, and incorrect answers. So that's the total amount of answers that they got correct and incorrect. And so this final score tab is only slightly different than the next one, question summary. Really, the only information that it has that's new is this correct answers and incorrect answers. Question summary. Here we have a lot of data. What we have is a list of the players and all the answers that they gave. So starting from the left to the right, we have the rank, how well they did. So it's in order from the best to the worst, and then corresponding information, who the player was, their total score, and then each question that they took. So we have the question, what the question number was, and what the question was. How many points they got. So if it's green, that means they got it correct, and the number that it shows there is their score. If it's red, they got it incorrect, and it's going to be 0. And then the answer right next to that, the answer that they gave. And so it has this information for every single question. Next is question 1. And so we have several tabs, 1 through 21, which have this information. Really, it's a more close-up look at the question. So going from the top, we have question 1. How many possible outcomes are there? So it tells us what the question is. Now, if there was a photograph attached, it does not have the photograph. If there is a video attached, it does not have the video. Correct answers. So this is not the total amount of players, the total amount of times that they got the answer correct. This is the actual answer that was correct. It's answers, plural, because there can be more than one answer. Kahoot allows you to have as many as you want, really, up to 4, but a minimum of 1. Players correct. What's the percentage who got the answer correct? Question duration, the total time possible for them to answer. And then a question summary. So for the question summary, it shows what the possible answer was and the corresponding option, the color and the shape that they had to press in order to get it right. Is the answer correct? A red X if it's incorrect, a green check mark if it is correct. Number of answers received, just as it sounds. Average time taken to answer. So how long it took for the students overall to answer this. And then it gives a breakdown, student by student, what they answered and how long it took them to answer. And so this is true for each of these tabs 1 to 21. Next, we have raw data. So there's a lot of information here. So it goes from question number, actual question, and the answers that were possible. After that, we have correct answers. Again, which answers are actually correct. Time allotted to answer, how much time the student has. Players, in this case, which player we're talking about in this row. Answer, the answer that he gave. Correct/incorrect, whether it was correct or not. And then 2 columns, one that says correct and then a number, and incorrect and then a number. So this has the same information as correct/incorrect, just converted into a number. Score points. So the score that they got for this question. Score without answer streak bonus, just as it sounds. Current total score, just as it sounds. Answer time as a percentage. So this can give you a sense of how well they're using the time. Next, we have answer time in seconds. So this has a lot of the same data as we've seen before. But what's interesting, it's in a large array, and we can use this, as we'll see later, to play around with. One area where this is different is that it can show all the answers that a student has done all in one section. As we'll see later, we'll be able to sort this data and be able to group all the answers done by one student. So we can look at how he's playing, how quickly he's answering, how quickly he's using the percentage of time. And we can study player by player this way and further manipulate the data to understand what's going on.